greatest professional wrestler, Colt Cabana. Click on the button and subscribe.
2017 was definitely one of the most interesting years in WWE. I mean, like, Jinder Mahal was WWE champion, Bray Wyatt was WWE champion, Ellsworth was Miss Money in the Bank, and within a 13-year gap, we saw Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar again, and it was pretty good. But not every superstar had a really good 2017. I mean, Chris Jericho, great 2017. Kurt Hawkins, not so much. He lost like every match. But there were some superstars that had such a good 2016 when compared to their 2017 year in WWE, it really just devalued their stock. And I'm not making this video saying that this superstar sucks. It's just that their booking was sucky. I already know some of you guys are gonna get a little offended by the people that are on this list. It's not the superstar, it's the booking, alright? So these are 5 WWE superstars that fell off in 2017. Number 5, TJP. In 2016, WWE had the Cruiserweight Classic, taking the best cruiserweights all over the world and putting them in the WWE in a big tournament that ended with the Cruiserweight Championship coming back to WWE. And TJP actually won the title. The Cruiserweight division itself should honestly be on this list. Losing this Cruiserweight Championship at Hell in a Cell 2016, he didn't even see the title again. Still hasn't. But a lot of guys, once they lose the title, they kind of lose the rematch on 205 Live. No one watches it. Then we kind of just move on and no one really remembers them after. I like to call that the Tozawa effect. But TJP didn't see the purple strap in a long time, so eventually he kind of had to force himself back into the picture. After losing to Austin Aries and kind of feeling like he was just an afterthought, he aligned himself with Neville, and Neville said, like, you know, once we're done with Austin Aries, you get a title shot. The whole thing with TJP's heel turn doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of a character development. Not necessarily the same gamer gimmick. You know, the dabbing, it's a little too much, honestly. There's a lot of people that are fans of TJ Perkins. I mean, honestly, look at his Twitter feed. It's like nothing but like girls between the ages of like 13 and like 50. And honestly, the guy has the potential to be like the kid-friendly super baby face, because he comes out with the gamer music, and his entire stage Titatron is 8-bit text. He has the cool colors, he represents the Philippines, and he dabs. I mean, like, look at Logan Paul and Jake Paul. Like, majority of their fans are little kids, and they love to dab. So there's definitely a market for TJ Perkins, but like, is there a creative team that wants to do anything with them? Also, you haven't even seen him or Grand Metalik, by the way, which I haven't seen much of him at all. Is he still with the company? Like, what happened to him? He's been taken off of television because creative literally has nothing for him. But luckily with the 205 Live house shows coming up, you'll definitely probably see him up there so he can actually do something. So he's not sitting at home collecting checks for no reason. He's just a roster member at this point. Number 4, Ty Dillinger. In 2016, he really didn't have that great of a year as well. But the difference between Ty Dillinger and pretty much everyone on this roster is that most of these guys have accomplished something. Ty Dillinger really hasn't accomplished much, but has a crowd reaction of a Daniel Bryan. If you look at my SmackDown reactions, I kind of said this.
I just love this guy! Look at his energy!
Seriously, the guy's energy is really contagious. Like, just makes you just want to like just scream for him. Obviously, we all know he's a great wrestler. I mean, we've seen his matches before. If you're gonna bring up guys to the main roster, they had his debut at the Royal Rumble where they run in at Raw. If you're gonna bring him up then, leave him. Don't just bring him up and send him back down to NXT, then come back later. Like, it kind of takes away the mystique of them like debuting for the first time. But honestly, if you left this guy down to NXT, you could have built him up. Not saying he'd be a champion. Not everyone needs to be a champion to come up to the main roster. But he definitely could have been more of like a top mid-card guy, or a guy that'd be in the top few that isn't for the title. There's definitely a lot more you could have done with the guy in NXT, but it was about time that he came up to the main roster. And even with that, what has he really done? Nothing. You guys are stepping over shattered glass right now. It's kind of like we did with Cesaro, a guy that's like painfully over that you're doing nothing with. This guy can literally take a month off from television, come back, and it's still as over as he was when he debuted at the Rumble. Number 3, HIDEO ITAMI. HIDEO, I absolutely love that guy, but he just feels like such an afterthought now. He feels absolutely nowhere close to the levels of Kenta. But is that WWE's fault? Honestly, it really isn't. If you really look at it, Finn Balor probably wasn't going to win that NXT title when he did. In Japan, that spot was definitely made for HIDEO ITAMI to defeat Kevin Owens to become the NXT champion, popping up at the wrong moment every single time. Injuries. There's always the potential that WWE was gonna push this guy. I mean, they wouldn't have put him in WrestleMania 31 if they thought they weren't gonna do anything with him. But it's just those stupid nagging injuries that are just really screwing up his entire career in WWE so far. Eventually he came back, he got his title shot against Bobby Roode, but honestly, did anyone even think he was gonna win, or did anyone actually even care? Overall, that match was overlooked anyway because of DIY and Authors of Pain. Was anyone really even focused on HIDEO ITAMI at that point, or were we kind of just looking towards McIntyre winning the title? And this also wouldn't help when he comes up to the main roster as a cruiserweight. HIDEO ITAMI is one of those type of guys like Austin Aries or like Neville, who's honestly too talented and too well known to be a cruiserweight. I'm pretty sure if Finn Balor was in NXT right now, WWE would probably put him in the cruiserweight division. When he turned heel in NXT, it just felt so flat. He had a good match with Cassius Ohno, because Cassius Ohno is just amazing. And so is HIDEO in his own right. But that main roster call-up of going to 205 Live, like, he really shouldn't be there. He really should be on SmackDown Live. And also, he came up to the main roster as a face, right? He helped Balor beat up the Miz Taraj. He's a face, right? Why is he still screaming for respect? I don't want to be told by someone to respect them. That makes me not like them. I don't see an upside of his WWE run. Like, he's gonna be in the Cruiserweight division. He might win the title. I'd rather see you go back to Japan or Ring of Honor or somewhere else, because I just don't think WWE is a good spot for you right now. Number 2, a lot of people are gonna get mad at this. Again, I'm not saying she sucks. I'm just saying her booking was horrible. It was a hard pick between Bayley and Sasha, but number 2, Sasha Banks. Both these women had great 2016s, and they both had some really just not that great 2017s. Bayley was champion. She won at WrestleMania. She defended the title. And actually, no, she didn't. She lost it to Alexa. There's 2 more things more than Sasha did. And who had a better 2016 definitely was Sasha Banks. She main evented a pay-per-view. She won the title like 3 times. She main evented Raw. She had an Iron Man match on a pay-per-view. She had a WrestleMania show-stealing match between her and Charlotte and Becky. Sasha Banks is my favorite women's wrestler on the roster. So again, not every wrestler is gonna have a great year every single year, but when you come off of that year to this year, man, you didn't do much. Yeah, she did win the title. That lasted like a week. What did she do at WrestleMania? She didn't win. The match wasn't really all that. And the only reason people really wanted to see her in the match was for her to turn on Bayley. I was at Extreme Rules. I definitely remember she had a team with Rich Swann. Up to that build-up, she was on 205 Live, which is like Seth Rollins showing up on like main event. And overall, she really hasn't been doing much. It's been a very bland year for her. I'm not saying you have to turn her heel. The tunnel vision of Sasha Banks being the top woman on Raw is kind of shifting, because you have Paige back, you have Alexa Bliss, who's been doing great, and you have Asuka. I'm praying in 2018 she does move to SmackDown, maybe turns heel. She doesn't need to, but definitely needs to change her surroundings. She's extremely over with the audience. You don't want to turn her heel because she moves merchandise like crazy, and she has such a strong connection with her fans that it's like really unprecedented. When I go on Twitter, 3/4 of my entire timeline is Sasha Banks gifts. I just want to see her do well in 2018. That's it. And number 1, a lot of people will agree, they don't like it, but you have to agree with it. Finn Balor. What did Finn Balor do in 2016? He was NXT champion. He had an amazing feud with Samoa Joe. He had matches against Nakamura. He came up to the main roster, pinned Roman Reigns clean, and also was the first ever Universal Champion. Like, first ever champion of a world title that actually holds some prestige in the WWE. I'm sure if he wasn't injured, he was going to hold that title at least until the Royal Rumble. But since his return in 2017, the night after WrestleMania, what has he really done? He had an absolutely horrible feud with Bray Wyatt. I honestly wanted to put Bray Wyatt on his list also, because he didn't do much either, even though he was a world champion. There was an opportunity to give him that shot at Extreme Rules, but he didn't win the Fatal 5-Way. Again, back to the Bray Wyatt thing, that was honestly so bad. The only highlight of this year so far has been Balor versus Styles at TLC, which was a great match. It only took maybe like 24, 48 hours for him to get squashed by Kane. And then the rumors going around about Brock versus Balor at the Royal Rumble were canceled because Finn isn't over. That's actually a lie. What do you mean? I know a lot of backstage people are backstage, so maybe they're not, watching the same thing. Some of those executives outside of that backstage arena, put them up in the cheap seats with the crowd, because you'll hear from all the way at the top and all the way at the bottom. Everyone's cheering for this guy. I'm not even a really big Balor fan, but like, what do you mean he's not over? What? I know a lot of people are really hardcore Balor or hardcore Sasha, but you gotta admit, like, their year was pretty trash compared to 2016, where they're doing really big things. In 2017, they're not doing much. But yeah, guys, tell me your opinions in the comments down below. Make sure to like, comment, share, always subscribe, and we outie.